state representative selected you to serve as a page for the Georgia House of Representatives. This is a great honor, and you should be proud of such an accomplishment. As a page, you will act as a liaison between visitors and representatives by distributing messages and information. Let's go over some of the rules to follow while performing your duties as a house page. All pages must sign in to complete registration. Students under the age of 16 must be signed in and out by a parent or guardian. However, students over the age of 16 who have provided their own transportation to the Capitol without a parent or guardian may complete sign-in registration and check out on their own. You may not chew gum, run, or eat while on the house floor, and shoes must be worn at all times. Please refrain from using cell phones or any other electronic device. Always walk along the outer areas of the house floor to deliver a message unless instructed otherwise. Always deliver messages from the front of the representative, never from behind. Do not walk in the center aisle. Now that we have gone over the rules to follow, let us discuss how you should perform your duties. Seats are located in the back of the House chamber where you will sit and take turns delivering messages to the representative. At registration, you will have received a yellow slip with your representative's name and seating code. Once the session begins, you will be instructed by the page staff to deliver the yellow slip to your representative as a way to introduce yourself. The page desk is the designated area for retrieving messages to deliver to the representative. If you retrieve a message from the page desk, upon returning to the chamber, please proceed through the center doors and hand it to a page staff member. If the representative is away from their desk when you deliver a message, kindly leave the message on their desk. The message will look like this on the paper. The page staff will write a code that represents the location of the representative's desk. The House floor is divided into 4 sections: A, B, C, and D. This letter is the first part of the code, which represents the section in which the desk is located. The next part of the code is the number specifying in which row the representative sits. And the last part of the code is the seat number in that row. At the appropriate time during the session day, the page program coordinator or a member of the speaker's staff will inform you that it is time to have your photo taken with the speaker and your representative. Once your photo is taken, the page staff will guide you to have lunch. If there is time available, they will also take you on a tour of the Capitol. At the end of the legislative day, you must sign out at the page desk in order to receive your packet with your certificate and your pay. The certificate will serve as your page verification for your school. Remember, your school must count you as present. It's not an excused or an unexcused absence. By state law, you are present. Now that you know the rules and duties of being a page, let's review. All pages must complete registration by signing in. Only accept and deliver messages that have been approved and given to you by a page staff member. You may not chew gum, run, or eat while on the house floor, and shoes must be worn at all times. Walking in the center aisle is prohibited. Deliver messages from the front of the person's desk. And lastly, electronic devices of all kinds must be turned off. In the unlikely event of an emergency, here are safety guidelines you will need to follow. Stop what you're doing and report to the page desk area or to a page staff member. And finally, for the safety of all pages, no page is allowed to leave the Capitol building for any reason unless there is an emergency. The Georgia House of Representatives would like to thank you for serving today as a page. hard work will help the process run smoothly and will help keep the representatives informed. We hope you enjoy your time here today. Please come and visit us again. Thank you.
Good morning, members. All members, will you please come to the floor? All members. All members, please come to the floor. All members, please come to the floor because the hour of convening having arrived. All members, please come to the floor and take their seats. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? All members, please come to the floor. We're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber. Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors and keep them closed? Well, we have a chaplain today who's going to bring us a little sunshine on a cloudy day, I bet. Come on up, Brother Tate. If you'll sit right here. Our chaplain this morning, as is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by our chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 82nd House District, Representative Karen Mathiak. Representative Mathiak.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. Wow, what a day to have Pastor Benny Tate here today. Not only with this crazy weather, but just we need that ray of sunshine. You are so right, Speaker. Today, I not only want to welcome his staff, but we also have the 8th graders from Rock Springs Christian Academy, and I'd love for them to stand and just see how great these kids are, and I'm just so proud that they're here, and thank you. Thank you. Representative Clint Crow is also a member of Rock Springs Christian Academy's school board, so we're excited to have Clint representing not only the school but us there. But today, Pastor Benny brought Pastor Kenny Chester, Pastor Clay Chastain, Pastor Gordon Powers, and the illustrious Don Mapp, and I'm so glad that you always come and visit with us too. It's always good to see you. Without further ado, I don't think Pastor Benny needs a whole lot of introduction. He comes and blesses us every year, and it's with my great pleasure that I get to present my pastor, Pastor Benny Tate.
Thank you, Mr. God bless you. God bless you. Speaker, thank you. God bless you. Good morning. Great to be here, and I just simply want to begin by saying I appreciate you. And hey, folks, I realized it's a rainy day, but it's still a good day. It's still a good day because this is the day that the Lord hath made. I remember getting up and saying to my wife one morning, "Good morning." She said, "Good morning." And then she said, "Benny, do you know what today is?" And I began to think, what is today? Is today our anniversary? Is today my wife's birthday? Tell you how to always remember your wife's birthday. That's just forget it one year. Amen? But nevertheless, I went on to work, called a lady in our church and said, "Send Barbara some flowers." They said, "What's the occasion?" I said, "Just do what I said. Just send the flowers to Barbara." And there's a little boutique that we shop at in Griffin, Georgia. I think the name of it's Walmart. I ran by there, picked her up a nice blouse, went to the house and said, "Barbara, tonight we're going to go out and celebrate. We're going to go celebrate." And we went out and we had a wonderful evening. I mean, literally, Applebee's had one of those 2 for $25, and it was just wonderful. And we were getting ready to retire for the night. And I said, "Barbara, it's been a great day, hasn't it?" She said, "Benny, it has been a great day." I said, "You know, Barbara, I didn't forget, did I?" She said, "Benny, you did not forget." She said, "You know, Benny, I believe it's been the greatest Groundhog's Day I've ever experienced." Well, folks, it's a rainy day, but this is the day that the Lord had made, and we get to rejoice and be glad in it. I want to share a verse of Scripture, look, and say what Elizabeth Taylor said to her 8th husband. I'm not going to keep you long, but I want to share a verse of Scripture. It's in Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. This is what the Bible says. "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before." Forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things that are before. For about 35 years, I've been coming to this Capitol every year. And it's always at the beginning of the year. And so I want to talk to you about how to have a good year. How to have a good year this year. That'd be relevant to all of us. 2 simple steps, and you can stick a fork in me, I'm done. The first step to having a good year is we got to settle the past. Settle the past. You know, a lot of people are not going to have a good year in 2025 because they haven't gotten past 2024. And they hadn't gotten past 2017. They hadn't gotten past 2015. But if we're going to have a good year, the first thing we've got to do is we got to settle the past. We've got to let our guilt go and realize God didn't come to rub our sins in. He came to rub them out. We got to let our grief go and realize that if we've got a pulse, God's still got a plan. We've got to let our glory go. I hear men my age talking about when they played high school football. Whew, get over it, amen? But I'll tell you something else we got to do. We got to let our grudges go. Grudges go. Let me tell you about Hazel Von Jecke. Hazel Von Jecke, ladies, was 94 years old. And as far as I know, Hazel Von Jecke never had a date. She was an old maid. She never had a date. 94 years old, Hazel Von Jecke died. And she left some specific instructions for her funeral. This is what she said. She said, "I want no male pallbearers." And this is what she said. She said, "If they wouldn't take me out when I was alive, I don't want them taking me out now that I'm dead." Whew. Boy, that's holding on to the grudge, amen? But I just want to encourage you today. I just want to encourage you today to settle the past. That is to say, just let it go. And then there's one other thing I'd say to you. Not only settle the past, but I would encourage you to start praying. Start praying. See, prayer is the difference between the best you can do and the best God can do. I've never stood here what I was not honored. But this whole deal about praying in the Capitol is not a new thing. See, there was a man by the name of Ben Franklin, and they were meeting in Constitution Hall in Philadelphia. And Mr. Speaker, they had argued for about 5 weeks. They couldn't agree on states' rights. And Mr. Ben Franklin stood up, and it's the reason why, by the way, I'm speaking here today. He said, we need the Father of lights to illuminate our minds. He said, men, if a sparrow cannot fall to the ground without God noticing it, do we think a nation can rise without His aid? And Mr. Ben Franklin led that body in prayer. And by the way, that's the reason why I'm here today, and we still have this as a part of our Constitution. Because we need wisdom from somewhere else other than us. Probably most of us can agree that Abraham Lincoln was a pretty good president. I think that's something, hey, no matter which side you're on. And by the way, if somebody said, Brother Benny, what do you think about a right wing? What do you think about left wing? I'm for the whole bird. Because see, I believe everybody's got needs. And at the end of the day, I believe we all have basically the same needs. But Abraham Lincoln led our country, folks, during a very difficult time. We can agree on that. And when our country was so divided during the Civil War, he said these words. He said, I've been driven to my knees by an overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. My wisdom and all about me seemed insufficient in the day. I got up this morning and rushed into the day. I had so much to accomplish, I didn't have time to pray. Problems just tumbled about me. Heavier came each task. Why doesn't God help me? He replied, you didn't ask. I wanted to see joy and beauty, but the day toiled on gray and bleak. I wondered why God doesn't help me. He replied, oh, Benny, you didn't seek. I got up this morning. I paused before entering the day. I had so much to accomplish. I had to take time to pray. Let me tell you one more story. And I mean this in conclusion. Little girl stayed all night, Mr. Speaker, one night with my daughter, and that little girl didn't go to church. And I was preaching at the church that Sunday morning, and I said just what I said. In conclusion, Miss Jan. And that little girl said to my daughter, what does it mean when your daddy says, in conclusion? She said, absolutely nothing. But I'll promise you today, in conclusion, let me tell you about this pastor. And he had this cat that climbed up in a tree in the backyard and was afraid to come down. That pastor, he offered it warm milk. The kitten wouldn't come down. The tree was not sturdy enough to climb, so he decided that if he tied a rope to his car and drove away, and the tree could be bent down, he could reach up and he could grab the kitten. All the while he was checking his progress in the car frequently. He figured if he just went a little bit further, the tree would be bent down and he could reach the kitten. But as he moved a little further, the rope broke. The tree went boing, and the kitten sailed out of sight. The pastor felt terrible. He walked all over the neighborhood trying to find that cat. And finally he did what we need to do. He said, God, I just pray and I commit that kitten to your care. That pastor a few days later was in the local grocery store, and he saw a lady in his church, and she had a grocery cart and it was full of cat food. And he knew that lady hated cats. And he said, why are you buying this cat food when I know that you hate cats? She said, Pastor, you won't believe this, but she said, my daughter has been begging for a cat. And I told her, honey, if God gives you a cat, I'll let you keep it. And she said, preacher, only you would believe this. She said, preacher, she goes out in the backyard, she gets down on her knees, and she starts praying for a cat. And she said, Pastor, I wouldn't have believed this if I hadn't seen it with my very own eyes. But suddenly, flying out of the blue sky, with its paws outspread, a cat landed right in front of her. And then she said, Pastor, don't you ever underestimate the power of prayer. Can we all stand? Can we do that? I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I love you. I appreciate you. What you do is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice to your family. It's a sacrifice to yourself. And I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, from the speaker on down to the first term representative, thank you for your service. I mean that. Probably don't get told that a lot, but I greatly appreciate what you do. Eighth grade class, I'm so honored to have y'all here today. Hey, would y'all make them welcome one more time? We'll make them welcome. Let us pray. Our most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, as we bow our heads and our hearts in your presence, I want to thank you for this body. I want to thank you for Speaker Burns. I thank you for every member, Lord, and the sacrifice they make for our state. They truly are servants, and I appreciate their service. I ask you, God, would you just bless them? I ask you, would you just give them wisdom? I pray not only for them, but I pray for their families, Lord, because there's mates that are sacrificing and children that are sacrificing. And so I just pray for families. So God, I ask you, would you bless them and keep them? Make your face to shine upon them, be gracious unto them. Would you lift your countenance upon them, and may they experience your peace. For I pray this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Mr. Speaker, before we pledge, can I do one thing?
Yes, sir.
Talking about good presidents, I think George Washington was a pretty good president too, don't you all? And George Washington said these words. He said, we can't govern without God and the Bible. We can't govern, he said, without God and the Bible. And this is a Rock Springs Bible, and it's my honor and privilege to present this Bible to your speaker, Speaker John Burns. I do appreciate you. Yes, I'd be glad. Miss Karen said, Benny, will you do one other thing? I said, I'll do it. She's asking me. She said, would you pray for the Chief of Staff, Terry England? I said, I'd be honored to. Yeah, I mean, I know we're out of protocol, but I think it's always right to pray, don't you all? Okay. Lord, I do even right now. You tell us, and the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And God, I'm asking you to continue to raise up Terry England. I ask you to touch this man, be with his family, be with his precious wife. I know this is a difficult time, and we just ask you for continual healing in Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Speaker.
Thank you, Brother Benny. Members, I know y'all know what I know. Terry England's getting better because of the power of prayer. And I know this gentleman and his team and his church have already been praying for him. So thank you, Brother Benny. And thank you for that message this morning. The doorkeepers, you may unlock the doors. Members, you may join Brother Benny in the South Ante room for a photo and greet him and thank him for his service here today. Members, we have a doctor of the day. It's Dr. Andrea Huntley. She is brought to us by Representative Lauren McDonald. Thank you, Representative McDonald, for bringing our doctor of the day. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized. Chairman Hilton.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day and found it to be correct, both in date and time.
You're getting there and doing your job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Chairman
sir.
Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, chair so orders. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Hearing none, the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Administration of the 104th moves following me establishes the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. All right. Members, I want to make an announcement. I'd like for you all to be the first to know. Y'all like to know a lot of things up front, so if I can have your attention. Members, if I can have your attention. We all know that some folks are irreplaceable in our lives and in our work. And we all know that Terry England certainly fits that bill. We also know that Terry England's getting better every day. And he will return to us. But we want to make sure that the work of this house, Terry wants to make sure, he wants to ensure, and we've had this conversation, he's still focused on the work of this house. I can guarantee you that. But we want to ensure that the good work of this house continues to move forward. Y'all are like me. Our focus is on doing good work for the people of Georgia. And I'm looking forward to continued work we'll be doing here. So we want to thank Terry for what he's been doing. But we also want to look forward. So we have an opportunity. Folks are willing to put their personal interests aside and come work for us in this house. A gentleman who is qualified in every sense of the word to work for the people of this state. We know he is because we've seen his work in the past. We know he's a friend to many of us, if not all of us in this house. If you don't know him, you will get to know him, and he is a trusted man that will carry on the work of Terry England, carry on the work of this house in the most able manner. I'll let you know that this morning we will announce to all that have an interest in the work of this house that Chris Riley will be the interim chief of staff to the Speaker's office. Chris, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you personally, but how much we appreciate you and your integrity and your stature and your knowledge, and how much it will mean to us in this house to ensure we get our job done for the people of Georgia. So let's welcome the interim chief of staff, Mr. Chris Riley. Thank you, members. And if you don't have his phone number, I'll give it to you. Don't be calling me, be calling him now. But we're fortunate to have Chris to come on board. First reading of bills and resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill 380 by Representative Green in the 154th. Bill being titled an act to repeal an act creating the Lower Chattahoochee Regional Airport Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 381 by Representative Green in the 154th. The bill be titled an act to amend and act create the Lower Chattahoochee Regional Transportation Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 382 by Representative Stevens in the 164th and Newton 127th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 16, 13, 25 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Schedule I controlled substances.
Help.
House Bill 383 by Representative Cox of the 28th Roads, the 124th, Cannon of the 172nd, McLean of the 109th, Irwin of the 32nd. Bill be titled an act to amend Titles 20 and 39 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to education and minors.
Education.
House Bill 384 by Representative Seaball of the 34th, Reeves of the 99th, Carson of the 46th, Hitchens of the 161st, Fleming of the 114th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 10 and Title 16 and Article 1 of Chapter 3 and Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to abuse of governmental office and official oaths.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 385 by Representative Holcomb of the 101st. A bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 23, 519.2 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to eligibility requirements for a Hope Scholarship.
Higher education.
You're a great American. House Bill 386 by Representative Barnes of the 86th, Hughley of the 141st, Bernal of the 77th, Jackson the 165th, Drenner of the 85th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 48.8.3 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to exemptions from sales and use taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 387 by Representative Thomas the 21st, LaHood of the 175th, Gullett of the 19th, Ballinger the 23rd, Ridley the 22nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 70 and Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to service delivery.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 388 by Representative Clark of the 100th, Bonner of the 73rd, Hitchens of the 161st, Martinez of the 111th, Cannon of the 172nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7, Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to imposition rate computation exemptions and credits for state income tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 389 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Holland of the 54th, Sharper of the 177th, Drenner of the 85th, Fryer of the 122nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to property.
Judiciary.
House Bill 390 by Representative Fleming of the 114th, Hagan of the 156th, Hitchens of the 161st, Scoggins of the 14th, McDonald the 3rd of the 26th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 11 and Title 16 and Code Sections 17.612 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public order.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 391 by Representative Cox of the 28th, Powell of the 33rd, Jaspers of the 11th, Deloach of the 167th, and Washburn of the 144th. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to professions and businesses.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 392 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Gunner of the 8th, Oliver of the 84th, Reeves of the 99th, and Leverett of the 123rd. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 5B of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to tax courts.
Judiciary.
House Bill 393 by Representative Cooper of the 45th, Saints of the 180th, Crawford of the 89th, Newton of the 127th, and Rice of the 139th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 46.291 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to traffic laws applicable to bicycles.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 394 by Representative McLean of the 109th, Hughley of the 141st, Alexander of the 66th, Jones of the 60th, Jackson of the 68th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to minimum wage law.
Industry and Labor. Suspend just for a moment, Mr. Clerk. How about turning it down just a notch? I'm having a problem hearing the clerk. Okay, Mr. Clerk, proceed.
House Bill 395 by Representative McLean of the 109th, Hughley of the 141st, Alexander of the 66th, Jones of the 60th, Jackson of the 68th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to minimum wage law.
Industry and Labor.
House Bill 396 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Ridley of the 22nd, Earhart of the 36th, Seaball of the 34th, McLean of the 61st, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend an act to reincorporate and provide a new charter for the city of Ackworth.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 397 by Representative Fleming of the 114th, LaHood of the 175th, Leverett of the 123rd, Gull of the 19th, Scoggins of the 14th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2, Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to elections and primaries generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 398 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, Gaines of the 120th, Dempsey of the 13th, Camp of the 135th, Prince of the 132nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2, Title 26 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to standards, labeling, and adulteration of food.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 399 by Representative Oliver of the 84th, Lallier of the 59th, Bernal of the 77th, Blackman of the 146th, Frye of the 122nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to landlords and tenants in general.
Judiciary.
House Bill 400 by Representative Frye of the 122nd, Lallier of the 59th, Washburn of the 144th, Bell of the 75th, Roberts of the 52nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Titles 12, 32, and 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to conservation and natural resources.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 401 by Representative Frye of the 122nd, Momptown of the 17th, Ridley the 22nd, Bell of the 75th, Roberts the 52nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 9 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to regulation of rates.
Insurance.
House Bill 402 by Representative Frye of the 122nd, Bell of the 75th, Drenner of the 85th, Sanchez of the 42nd, Paris of the 142nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Titles 46 and 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to public utilities and public transportation.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 403 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Lallier of the 59th, Davis of the 87th, Scott of the 76th, Frye of the 122nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to property. Yes.
Judiciary.
House Bill 404 by Representative Taylor of the 92nd, Moore of the 91st, Carter of the 93rd. Bill be titled an act to amend the act creating a new charter for the city of Conyers.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 405 by Representative Frye of the 122nd, Wiedauer of the 121st, Evans the 57th, Crawford of the 89th, Roberts of the 52nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 23 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to licensing of agents.
Insurance.
House Bill 406 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd. The bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 23 of Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Georgia Judicial Retirement System.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 39 by Senators Tillery of the 19th, Summers of the 13th, Robertson of the 29th, Watson of the 1st, Walker of the 20th. A bill to be titled an act to amend Chapter 18 of Title 45, Chapter 4, Title 49, and Chapter 1 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the employees' insurance and benefit plans.
Health.
The Senate Bill 70 by Senator Anderson of the 43rd. A bill be titled an act to provide for the creation of one or more community improvement districts within the city of Conyers.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
Senate Bill 78 by Senator Watson of the 1st, Mallow of the 2nd, Hickman of the 4th, Dixon of the 45th. Bill be titled an act to create the City of Tybee Island Building and Public Facilities Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 83 by Senator Huffstetler, the 52nd, and Setzler, the 37th. The bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption for Bartow County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 84 by Senator Albers, the 56th, Payne of the 54th, Burns to the 23rd, Still of the 48th, and Williams to the 25th. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 4286 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to special license plates.
Motor vehicles.
That completes first readers.
Members, we have a former member of this body on the floor. He's gotten a lot more popular since the last time he ran for office, last time I can tell, because he's gotten a lot of attention this morning. My dear friend and our friend in the House, former Representative Josh Clark. Josh, good to have you here with us today, brother. Good to see you. Hope your family's well. Second reading of bills and resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill 342 by Representative Horner of the 3rd, Ridley of the 6th, Ridley of the 22nd, McCollum of the 30th, and Bell of the 75th. A bill relating to access to medical cannabis. House Bill 343 by Representative Sanchez of the 42nd, McLean of the 109th, Jackson of the 68th, Berry of the 56th, Jones of the 60th, and others. A bill relating to labor, industrial relations, and penal institutions. House Bill 344 by Representative Parsons of the 44th, McCollum of the 30th, Scoggins of the 14th, Thomas of the 21st, Powell of the 33rd. A bill relating to duty of driver of vehicle meeting or overtaking school bus. House Bill 345 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th, Roberts of the 52nd, Carter of the 93rd, Miller of the 62nd, Park of the 107th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions of insurance. House Bill 346 by Representative Parsons of the 46th, Carson of the 44th, Carson of the 46th, Seabaugh of the 34th, and Barton of the 5th. A bill relating to expedited franchising of cable and video services. House Bill 347 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th. A bill relating to health. House Bill 348 by Representative Williamson of the 112th, Lumsden of the 12th, Tarvin of the 2nd, Burchett of the 176th, Hughley of the 141st, and others. A bill relating to domestic stock of mutual insurers and captive insurance companies. House Bill 349 by Representative Alexander of the 66th, Baker of the 64th, and New of the 40th. A bill to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Douglas County. House Bill 350 by Representative Cameron of the 1st, Crow of the 118th, Camp of the 135th, Mathiak of the 82nd, Washburn of the 144th, and others. A bill relating to domestic relations. House Bill 351 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Cannon of the 172nd, Smith of the 70th, Smith of the 138th, Dickey of the 134th. A bill relating to general provisions regarding solid waste management. House Bill 352 by Representative Seabaugh of the 34th, Cooper of the 45th, Mathis of the 133rd, Taylor of the 173rd, Reese of the 140th, and others. A bill relating to coverage for continuous glucose monitors. House Bill 353 by Representative Seabaugh of the 34th, Carpenter of the 4th, Stevens of the 164th, Bonner of the 73rd, Westbrook of the 163rd, and others. A bill relating to the Department of Community Affairs. House Bill 354 by Representative Panich of the 51st, Smith of the 18th, Evans of the 57th, Hong of the 103rd, Roberts of the 52nd. A bill relating to certain communications privileged. House Bill 355 by Representative Tran of the 80th, a bill to amend an act to reincorporate the city of Doraville and the county of DeKalb. House Bill 356 by Representative Tran of the 80th, a bill to create the city of Doraville Building and Public Facilities Authority. House Bill 357 by Representative Franklin of the 160th, a bill relating to imposition rate computation, exemption, and credits. House Bill 358 by Representative Smith of the 138th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Buckner of the 137th, Jenkins of the 136th, a bill relating to prohibiting the acquisition of possessory interest in certain land by certain foreign persons and entities. House Bill 359 by Representative Kelly of the 16th, a bill to authorize the city of Cedarton, Georgia to exercise all redevelopment and other powers under the Redevelopment Powers Law. House Bill 360 by Representative Estration of the 104th, Stevens of the 164th, Jones of the 25th, Blackman of the 146th, Williamson of the 112th, and others. A bill relating to income tax imposition rate computation, exemptions, and credits. House Bill 361 by Representative Ballard of the 147th, Bonner of the 73rd, Clark of the 100th, Rice of the 139th, Reese of the 140th, and others. A bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 362 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th, Franklin of the 160th, a bill to provide homestead exemption from Bryan County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 363 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Reeves of the 99th, Kelly of the 16th, Crow of the 118th, Penance of the 51st, a bill relating to criminal trespass. House Bill 364 by Representative Neal of the 79th, a bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 365 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, McDonald of the 26th, Smith of the 138th, Campbell of the 171st, Hagan of the 156th, a bill relating to imposition rate, computation of, and exemptions and credits from state income taxes. House Bill 366 by Representative Tran of the 80th, Williams of the 168th, Hitchens of the 161st, Griffin of the 149th, Reeves of the 99th, a bill relating to holidays and observances. House Bill 367 by Representative Hawley of the 116th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Bazemore of the 69th, Clark of the 108th, Jackson of the 68th, a bill relating to commissions and other agencies. House Bill 368 by Representative Sharper of the 177th, Hitchens of the 161st, Lumsden of the 12th, Neal of the 79th, Cummings of the 39th, and others, a bill relating to general provisions relative to identification and regulation of motor vehicles. House Bill 369 by Representative Sharper of the 177th, Hitchens of the 161st, LaHood of the 175th, Baker of the 64th, Cummings of the 39th, and others, a bill relating to general provisions relative to equipment of motor vehicles. House Bill 370 by Representative Gaines of the 120th, Jones of the 47th, Williamson of the 112th, Abstration of the 104th, Kelly of the 16th, and others, a bill relating to ad valorem property tax bill form. House Bill 371 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Townsend of the 179th, Green of the 154th, Dubnick of the 29th, Irwin of the 32nd, a bill relating to capital outlay funds generally under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 372 by Representative Ballard of the 147th, Irwin of the 32nd, Blackman of the 146th, Persinger of the 119th, Townsend of the 179th, a bill relating to retirement allowances, disability benefits, and spouses benefits. House Bill 373 by Representative Glaze of the 67th, Newton of the 127th, Cooper of the 45th, Mitchell of the 88th, Paris of the 142nd, and others, a bill relating to general provisions regarding insurance. House Bill 374 by Representative Montahan of the 17th, Gullett of the 19th, Earhart of the 36th, and Ballard of the 147th, a bill relating to local enforcement boards created on or after January 1st, 2003. House Bill 375 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Harmon of the 2nd, Powell of the 33rd, Montahan of the 17th, Gunter of the 8th, and others, a bill relating to the imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credits for state income tax. House Bill 376 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Sains of the 180th, Hagan of the 156th, Stevens of the 164th, Buckner of the 137th, and others, a bill relating to imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credits for state income tax. House Bill 377 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, Burchett of the 176th, Bonner of the 73rd, Wade of the 9th, Fry of the 122nd, and others, a bill relating to general provisions for manufactured and mobile homes. House Bill 378 by Representative Montana of the 17th, Gunter of the 8th, Reeves of the 99th, Abstration of the 104th, and Smith of the 18th, a bill relating to practice and procedure relative to state courts and counties. House Bill 379 by Representative Montana of the 17th, Gunter of the 8th, Reeves of the 99th, a bill relating to liens for services rendered, priority modes of enforcement, and other rights. House Resolution 208 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, McLean of the 109th, Scott of the 76th, Sanchez of the 42nd, Cannon of the 58th, the resolution urging the Georgia General Assembly to prohibit the use of racially derogatory or discriminatory school mascots, logos, or team names in Georgia public schools. House Resolution 209 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, McLean of the 109th, Scott of the 76th, Jones of the 60th, and Glaze of the 67th, a resolution urging the Georgia General Assembly to pass the Workplace Safety and Heat Protection Act to ensure critical protections for workers facing extreme heat conditions. Senate Bill 6 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Strickland of the 42nd, Robertson of the 29th, Jackson of the 41st, Brass of the 6th, and others, bill relating to other laws unaffected by the Georgia Drug and Cosmetic Act. Senate Bill 8 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Strickland of the 42nd, Hatchett of the 50th, Jackson of the 41st, Brass of the 6th, and others, a bill relating to courts. Senate Bill 23 by Senator Alberts of the 56th, Brass of the 6th, Robertson of the 29th, Hatchett of the 50th, Still of the 48th, and others, a bill to amend the Public Retirement Systems Investment Authority law. Senate Bill 35 by Senator Walker of the 20th, Harbin of the 16th, Cowsert of the 46th, Robertson of the 29th, Alberts of the 56th, a bill relating to cancellation or non-renewal of certain property insurance policies. 3 second readers.
Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk, will you read?
And both chairmen.
Representative Josh Bonner, the 73rd District Chairman of the Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your comments on Defense and Veteran Affairs is that under its consideration following bills of the House is instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 53 do pass, House Bill 108 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Josh Bonner, the 73rd District Chairman. Representative Gunner, the 8th District Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary has had under its consideration following bills of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 85 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 86 do pass. House Bill 177 do pass. House Bill 181 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Gunner, the 8th District Chairman. Representative Tyler Paul Smith, the 18th District Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil has had under its consideration the following bill of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 162 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District Chairman. Representative Shaw Blackman, the 146th District Chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Ways and Means has had under its consideration the following bills and resolutions of the House and has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Resolution 42 do pass. House Bill 112 do pass. House Resolution 32 do pass by substitute. House Bill 90 do pass. House Bill 111 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Shaw Blackman in the 146th District Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'll move on to morning orders, members. We have 3 morning orders this morning. Oh, don't call him first.
No, neither one of them wanted to go first, but her group is there. They're up in the red.
Leader Hughley, are you ready? I think your group's here. Members, we have an important recognition of a group here in the gallery, and I want you to give the leader your full attention and a couple of friends. Are they okay to be? Are you okay with them being with you? Just making sure.
Don't ask her twice.
No, don't ask her twice. Give the lady in the well your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Sickle Cell Day at the Capitol, and those who have guests that are part of this group, you are welcome to join us here in the well. We want to welcome the Sickle Cell Foundation of Georgia and the Sickle Cell Warriors to our Capitol. They're in the gallery today, and they are wearing the red and black. Please stand.
Tell them they didn't hear you.
Please stand and be recognized. These warriors are from all over Georgia, but there is a certain representative who boasts that they brought the most here from Liberty County and Savannah, Georgia, so we'll yield. So please join us in room 230 of the Capitol today upon adjournment and meet your sickle cell warriors from your district. Thank you all for coming to your Capitol. Also, if you notice outside on Mitchell Street, the mobile health hub is out there, so stop and take a look at what they're doing for all of the people here in Georgia. They have screened over 110,000 Georgians for sickle cell disease. Thank you, sickle cell warriors, and congratulations on Sickle Cell Day at the Capitol. We yield the floor.
Thank you for being here. Sickle cell is a terrible disease. We appreciate all you're doing, and we also want to remember our former Representative Gloria Frazier, who was a champion for research and also want to acknowledge the research that's being done on this disease over at Augusta University, the Medical College of Georgia. Thank you for being here. Y'all have a safe day. Representative Phil Lalalier, are you ready for your morning order? Representative Lalalier. And friends, I knew you had friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll give folks a few times to come up.
Just give them a second. You got them coming. Coming from every part of Georgia.
No.
I think you're good, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. So good morning, colleagues. Today is the 6th annual After School Day at the Capitol. This is an event organized by the Georgia Statewide After School Network, bringing providers and organizations leading after school and summer learning programs from across the state, really to recognize their hard work. And it is crucial in the development and growth of our future and ensuring the success of all Georgia children in college and career and in life. We have a few organizations and providers up in the gallery that I wanted to recognize quickly. GSAN, Katie Landis and her team, the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, Camp Twin Lakes, Lift Youth Center, Norman School of the Arts, Raising Expectations, Tangi, hey Tangi, and my personal favorite, Next Generation Men and Women. This is the organization I lead and work with, and got a few colleagues here, Simone Guerin, Stacy Scherer, Josie Dose. Thank you for all of your incredible work each and every day to support our communities and youth. Can you all stand and be recognized, and let's give them a warm welcome to the People's House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you all for being with us today. Appreciate your work in the community. Representative Reese, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Representative Teddy Reese is recognized for a morning order. Give the gentleman in the wheel your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hecklers on the front row, please sit down. You only have one that was heckling you, I think, so we'll... Representative Reese, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today we acknowledge the 116th Founders Day of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, known as the NAACP. Today, we recognize their commitment to justice, equality, and the upliftment of African Americans. On February the 12th, 1909, a historic call to action by Mary White Overton, Oswald Garrison Villard, William English Wallen, and Dr. Henry Moskowitz sought the urgent need to address racial justice in the United States of America. And today we do want to recognize our local state guests if they are here in the gallery joining us for the NAACP Day. We have State President Gerald Griggs. We have Minister Edward Dubose from the National Board, Mr. David Walker, and Ms. Tanza Cherie Thomas, who serves as the Executive Director of the State of Georgia NAACP. Let's give the NAACP of Georgia a round of applause for the work that they do.
Well, I know you're a Gold Life member like me. You're doing all this talking. You can't
You can't sit high and get low.
Thank you, Representative Reese.
You're a gold life member.
I'm not old enough to be gold. I'm just silver.
I know the money. They ain't got nothing to do with it.
Representative Reese, I tried, but he's still going to give you a hard time. Welcome. We're glad to have y'all. Thanks for being here. Appreciate what you do. Should come back yet? Representative Lynn Smith. Representative Smith, I think you have a morning order. While she's coming, I'm going to make you aware of something. Members, it's a pretty cool day in our history, the history of our state. Because on this day, February the 12th, in 1733, General James Edward Oglethorpe landed in Savannah. It was a bright, sunshiny day, they tell me. A former member of this house, Tommy Benton, was probably there. So he tells me it was a bright, sunshiny day. So 292 years, this place has been a beacon of hope for Georgians, from people around the world. And let's continue to build a better Georgia for everyone. So congratulations to our great state, and hopefully this house will continue to do its work to continue to make this place, as it has been for 292 years, the best place to live, work, and raise a family for generations to come. Thank you, members. Representative Lynn Smith is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. I have a delegation from Sharpsburg, Georgia. We have Mayor Elizabeth Good, and we have April Yarborough. If you will please stand, we'll recognize you. Well, they were in the gallery. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I'm glad you recognize them. I'm sure they can watch the tape. Thank you, Representative Smith, and to your community. That completes our morning orders. We do have an invite resolution. Mr. Clerk, are you ready? Members, if you'll give your attention to the clerk, we have an invite resolution that's pretty cool again this morning. So concerns Morehouse, one of our leading institutions here in this state. So, Mr. Clerk, would you read the caption of House Resolution 168?
House Resolution 168 by Representative Holly, the 116th Berry, the 56th, and Bell, the 75th. A resolution recognizing and commending Dr. David A. Thomas upon his retirement from Morehouse College.
Members, if you will give your attention to Representative Bell, who will speak to the resolution, and we have a couple of other members, if you'll recognize them as that have joined us up here, and then certainly our guest, that would be appropriate. Thank you, Representative Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this honor and privilege to recognize one of Georgia's outstanding institutions and our president, our 12th president, Dr. David Thomas. Because it's an absolute joy, a pleasure to honor this honorary visionary, leader and trailblazer in higher education. A champion for black excellence, Dr. David Thompson is the 12th president of Morehouse College, and today on the 12th day of February, we're celebrating Founders Day. His career spans top institutions, including Harvard and Georgetown.
Members, we're celebrating a legacy of work for our state, so give the gentleman who's introducing our guest your full attention, please.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. As I stated, ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to introduce a visionary leader and trailblazer in higher education. A champion for black excellence, Dr. David Thompson is the 12th president of Morehouse College, and on the 12th day of February, we are celebrating its Founders Day. With a career spanning top institutions, including Harvard and Georgetown, Dr. Thomas has not only shaped the minds, but has transformed institutions. Since taking the helm at Morehouse College, he has elevated the institution to new heights, expanding its global influence, securing historic investments, and reinforcing the legacy as an intellect and the epicenter of black men. A man of wisdom, strategy, and unwavering commitment to the developing of the next generation of leaders, he embodies the spirit of Morehouse. And for those who don't know, rain can't stop the house. Sleep can't stop the house. Lightning can't stop the house. Nothing can stop the house. Without further ado, please help me to introduce and welcome Dr. David Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction, Representative. I guess when you're retiring, people start to say really nice things about you. So I appreciate it. It's an incredible honor to stand here today on this special occasion on the eve of Morehouse's 158th anniversary. It's 158 years of continuous service to Georgia, the nation, and the world for Morehouse this week. I'm also grateful for the resolution that was read. It's not only an honor for me, but a recognition of the amazing work that Morehouse has done, including producing leaders, several of whom are members of this body. Representative Eric Bell, Representative Bryce Berry, Representative El Mahdi Holly, all Morehouse men, and simply examples of the leadership that Morehouse has produced that has served the people of Georgia. The way I describe Morehouse is that we are the only institution in higher education singularly committed to the production of black male excellence at scale. That has been our mission and our service for this 158 years. So again, I want to thank you, legislators, for recognizing me and, more importantly, honoring the work of Morehouse College. And I also, again, want to thank our alumni who are members of this body for arranging this moment for me and for the college. Thank you.
Dr. Thompson, I guess you can catch up on all those honeydews you've not been doing over the years. Thomas, you can catch up on all those honeydews you've been ignoring over the years. Congratulations. Thank you for a great career of leadership, Dr. Thomas. We appreciate what you've done, and I know you'll still be there for Morehouse. Thank you for what Morehouse has done as well. Thank you. Let's take a photo. We also want to welcome a former member of this House, Representative Roger Bruce, who is also a Morehouse man. Former Representative Bruce. If you would like to join Dr. Thomas for a photo over in the South Ante room, that would be appropriate at this time as we move on to the rules calendar. Chairman Williamson, if you're ready, we're ready. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 15, House Bill 15?
House Bill 15 by Representative Williamson and the 112th and others to be entitled an act to amend Title VII of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to banking and finance so as to update terminology. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Banks and Banking. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Members, we're on the rules calendar. We have a couple of bills. This is our first bill, House Bill 15, representing Bruce Williamson from Walton County and Monroe, is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Pastor Tate this morning reminded us all that how he thought that Groundhog Day was his wife's birthday. Well, today's not Groundhog Day, but it is Vicki Williamson's birthday. So if y'all happen to see my wife in the hall, wish her happy birthday for me. But today I bring before you the annual housekeeping bill this year for the Department of Banking and Finance. This year the bill number is 15. And like in the years past, this is about the 10th year we've been modernizing and simplifying our banking code. It's the Department of Banking and Finance and Housekeeping bill. The department works very closely with affected industries, everything from our credit unions, banks, money service lenders, Georgia Installment Lenders Association, mortgage bankers and servicers, the whole ecosystem for our banking products, and works with the industry to make sure that where they're proposing changes in applications and background checks and such as that there's no unintended consequences. And this year, once again, there's no objection to this bill. All the industry is in favor of it. Have nobody spoken against it. It came out of the Department of Banks and Banking, the Banking Committee unanimously, and there's been no. These bills get looked at even nationally, and any inbound questions we've had from out-of-state people, we've been able to answer any questions they have. So, Mr. Speaker, that's the bill. Be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll be willing to yield the will.
Gentlemen, yield for a question.
Yes, sir, I do.
Representative Wade has a question to your right.
Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Just want to make sure, is it not true that House Bill 15 aims to modernize Georgia's banking and financial regulations, as you've done for over a decade, to ensure quality service for our consumers in this state?
That's correct.
Thank you.
You have no further questions, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will and ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the will. Is there an objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, not quite. All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 1515, the yeas are 163, the nays are 1. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Okay, we're going to talk about South Georgia for a moment. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 5555?
House Bill 55 by Representative Ford of the 170th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1562 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating the number of judges of superior courts so as to provide for an additional judge of the superior courts of the Lalapaha Judicial Circuit.
What circuit was that, clerk, Mr. Clerk?
Alapaha.
That's it. We just wanted to, you know, my tongue gets tired all the time. I like it when yours does, so I get to correct you. The Alapaha. The lady from Alapaha, who's filling some very big shoes, is recognized to present the bill. Representative Ford, thank you so much for bringing this to the judicial system. Members, if you'll give the lady in the wheel your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and fellow members, for the opportunity to introduce to you House Bill 55, which adds a third judge to the Alapaha Judicial Circuit. I'd also like to thank my colleagues and co-signers, some of who represent districts in this circuit, for their support on this bill. The Alapaha Circuit includes Atkinson, Berrien, Clinch, Cook, and Lanier counties, and ranked #1 on the Judicial Council's workload study. But a lot has changed since the district received its second judge back in 1979. Over the last 45 years, our 5 counties have seen a 33% increase in population. Case counts have doubled due to increased crime rates. Divorce rates have increased over 60% nationwide. Lawsuits have increased, and landlord-tenant disputes have increased as well. Roughly 1/3 of our civil cases involve self-represented citizens, people without means for an attorney. Several of you attorneys understand this and know that these cases can take longer. To ensure justice, the judge has to explain the proceedings, slow down, review filings, and continue cases to allow these citizens seeking justice an opportunity to correct their clerical mistakes, so the cases can be judged on the merits. It takes time. I'd like to point out that this area is mostly rural, with a poverty rate of 26%. I would also like to note that I-75, which runs from Miami to Detroit, runs right through the heart of Cook County in this circuit, bringing with it over 55,000 cars across the area daily. With all that traffic comes an uptick in drug trafficking, as well as human trafficking and a myriad of gang activity. So don't be misled. We are rural Georgia, but we have big city crime, to the point that Governor Kemp, along with Attorney General Chris Carr, came to Cook County to do a gang task force roundtable with FBI, GBI, and the Drug Task Force just a few years ago. Lastly, I would like to mention that we have unanimous support for the additional judgeship among all 5 counties in the district, along with amenities and the physical space to support the position. Funding for this position is in the governor's 2026 proposed budget. On behalf of the citizens of this circuit, I would appreciate your support of House Bill 55 and the access to justice it will bring for the communities in the Alapaha Judicial Circuit. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, at this time, I welcome questions.
Well, I want to remind you of something now, Representative. I think this is the first time you've been in the well. So here's how this is going to go. I know you've read the rules. So you have a couple of questions, and I'm going to recognize the member for a question. They're going to ask you to yield for a question. You don't have to yield.
I don't have to.
It's up to you. It's up to you. We're going to start with the gentleman from down in that neck of the woods, Representative Chaz Cannon, to your right for a question.
Does the gentlelady yield?
I do.
What jurisdiction would this new Superior Court judge have?
To enforce the laws.
No further questions, Mr. Speaker.
Asked and answered. Gentleman right up the center, Representative Gamble, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I do.
Good. I'm noticing here on line 64, section 7, it talks about the qualifications of the additional judge. Can you elaborate on what those qualifications are?
On line 67.
64.
64. Let's see. I would think it would need to be a good, upright, honest person of good character and good morals.
Very good. Thank you for your explanation.
You have a couple of more. Let's see. A gentleman down in that area too, Representative Dexter Sharper, to your left in the back, has a question.
Thank you, Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
Is it true today that when I walked near you, you said you have a nice outfit on and you look good today? And I'm going to be doing my first bill today if you can help me. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
All right.
And you always look nice.
All right.
I like your suits.
All right.
Representative Sharper.
To your left, Representative Park Cannon is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you yield?
I do.
Are there any women on this court?
Not presently. There are no ladies there. We have two gentlemen.
This will maybe give it an opportunity, right, with a new judge. Couple of more. Let's see. Representative Chairman John Corbett from down in southwest Georgia. Mr. Chairman is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I do.
The Code of Judicial Conduct, the ethical standards the JQC holds judges against, is called the judicial canons. Can you tell this chamber what those 7 canons are?
I can't help you.
Representative Corbett, I can't tell you those things, but I can tell you that this is a great bill for the great people of the great state of Georgia, more specifically for the Lappaha Judicial Circuit, which is also your district is in, and you signed on to this bill. So I appreciate your support. And with that, I will yield.
Well, we're going to watch the board to see how Representative Corbett votes, but I think I know. I think the lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Wow. Let's see if he can help you. Let's see if he can help you. For what purpose does Chairman Wiedauer arise? We need to see if we get
Parliamentary inquiry, sir.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that if the representative had simply just read the entire bill to us, it would have been a shorter presentation?
I'll let you make that remark. I won't agree with you on that one. The lady did an excellent job. Votes getting a little better all the time. For what purpose does Chairman Meeks rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true if the gentlelady had remained in the well and defined what the inherent powers of the bill refers to, she may have gained a few more votes?
I think the gentleman has a point, but I'm glad she yielded the well because that prompted these questions. The last one, the dean of this house, Representative Green from way down there in South Georgia, has is recognized. Is recognized.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that former representative from the area has just called me and said, all of y'all better vote for this bill? Penny Houston.
Well, I don't know how long she worked on this bill, but I tell you what, looks like they may get a judge. If all members now voted, if so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. We like to see North Georgia and South Georgia working together on the passage of the bill. The yeas are 100, House Bill 55. I'm still got one. The yeas are 166, and the nay is 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Congratulations, Representative Ford. Good job. I like the way you yielded the well. That was the most important thing you did. So great work, and I'm sure this will help that judicial circuit. So your work was easy here. It's over in the Senate where you have a problem. Let's see how that works out for you. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 137?
House Bill 137 by Representative Anderson to the 10th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 10 of Title 13 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to contracts for public works so as to increase the dollar value of certain public work contracts exempt from provisions. This bill having referred to the Committee on Governmental Affairs. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Anderson, you're recognized, but I have a quick question before you begin. You've been practicing presenting this bill, have you not? You presented it before this House. How many times? Twice. It's a good bill, so Representative Chairman Anderson is recognized to present House Bill 137. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I've heard the comment made many times, the third time is the charm. And I'm hoping that is the case, colleagues. House Bill 137 is a three-peat. We have passed it out of this chamber two times. 2 years ago, we passed House Bill 193, which was, in essence, the core portion of this bill. It made it all the way to the governor's desk. Did not have some things that the governor wanted in it, so they decided to veto the bill. We reintroduced it last year, adding those items in. It passed out, got held up in the Senate rules. So I'm asking you for your support again. House Bill 137 increases the bid limits for public works purchasing projects from $100,000 to $250,000. The $100,000 limit was set in 2001. That's 24 years ago. We have taken into account the inflationary factor since that time to settle at a number that is close to what it should have been at this point anyway. This bill covers municipalities, counties, consolidated governments, state agencies, and school systems. And Mr. Speaker, with that, I will yield for questions.
Gentleman has no questions.
Thank you, and I ask for your favorable consideration. Mr. Speaker, I yield the will.
He's yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine On the passage of House Bill 137, the yeas are 152, the nays are 9. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 199?
House Bill 199 by Representative Kelly, the 16th, and others to be entitled Act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the administration of courts of record generally so as to modify provisions related to protection of personally identifiable information of judges and their spouses. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Trey Kelly is recognized to present the bill. Representative Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, last year this body made the policy decision that we were going to give our judges and their spouses an opportunity to have their personally identifiable information redacted when it comes to websites or information at the city, county, or state level. The reason for doing this is because we had seen instances of judges being targeted and swatted at their homes, harassed at their homes, and through their cell phones. What we decided to do at that time was to ask our judges through our administrative office of the courts to compile a database that they could then enter their information into and then send that information out to the appropriate form of government to then be redacted. Well, through the process of implementation this year, we've realized that asking all of our judges to submit this sensitive information to one central database may not be the most secure way to protect that information. It's also going to be fairly costly. It would have had a fiscal impact to our budget this year in the amended budget of $177,000. Working with the Administrative Office of the Courts and individuals, cyber security experts, we focused the idea now and said that the Administrative Office of the Courts will simply provide a form for judges to fill out that they will then disseminate to the appropriate level of government and remove the database. By doing that and by voting for the amended budget, you voted to reduce that cost from $177,000 to $27,000, making this a more secure way to protect their information at a better cost to our taxpayers. With that being said, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for any questions.
The gentleman has a question to your left. Representative Park Cannon is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you yield?
I will.
I'm deeply concerned about LGBTQ families of judges. You know, we do have some judges who are lesbians or who are gay and maybe are transgender. And so would this also help those families, making sure that their personal information of their spouses would not be released?
Thank you for the question. This will apply to all judges across our state.
The gentleman has no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair has done. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair has none. Report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? For what purpose does Representative Hefner rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it not true that HB...
Is this a parliamentary inquiry?
Parliamentary inquiry, yes, sir.
State your inquiry, please.
Is it not true that House Bill 199 aligns with other legislative efforts that emphasize security and streamlined services, potentially making state employment more attractive for Georgia veterans, sir?
I think you clarified the issue very well. Thank you for their inquiry. Now, if all members voted, if so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 199, the yeas are 165, the nays are 0, and this bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 216
House Bill 216 by Representative Smith of the 138th, being titled an act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating the Department of Economic Development so as to create the Georgia CHIPS and Advanced Technology Commission. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Vance Smith is recognized to present a bill that we've talked about in the past, and I think one of our dear friends was a champion of this bill. I'm sure you'll tell us about that. Representative Smith is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate this opportunity to present this bill to y'all. If you think back last year, we discussed a CHIPS Act on the floor of the House, and it passed the Senate. This CHIPS Act was really one of the big items that our former Representative Richard Smith was all involved in. He was strategically, let's use another word, he was really trying to advance the CHIPS Act and trying to bring the CHIPS back to the United States, but to Georgia specifically. And he was very much involved, and a lot of people in our area have worked hard on this bill. In the interim, I want to thank several people, Department of Economic Development. Josh Stevens has helped me a lot with this bill, Department of DCA. We sat down also with the governor's staff and to make sure we had this bill like we needed it. And it's a good bill. It starts with, on page 2, you see how it creates a commission. People from the governor's office, the speaker can appoint people, the lieutenant governor, our education system. It deals with research and technology. So we need to bring that home, because over 90% of the chips right now that go in your phone, your appliances, your cars, all that's made in Taiwan, over 90% of it. So we need to bring it back to Georgia. So I would hope that you have had a chance to take a look at this. It does create a commission. We're going to work hard to see if we can't bring that industry here. It's high-paying jobs, and I think it'd be great for our citizens in Georgia. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for any questions. If not, I'd certainly appreciate your favorable vote.
The gentleman has a couple of questions if he'll yield.
Yes, sir.
To your left in the back, Representative Reese from over in Columbus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Isn't it true that our former beloved chairman, Richard Smith, understood the gravity of the chip situation here nationally within the United States and the impact that it has on national security?
Absolutely, sure did.
And does the gentleman further yield?
I do.
Isn't it also true that the people of Columbus, Georgia, was extremely appreciative of his efforts to lead this chip effort for our state and our region, and we are exceptionally excited that you, as well as our speaker, has joined on with signing this legislation to make this possible for the people of Georgia?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir.
And I do appreciate the Columbus delegation. They all signed on to this bill. We've tried to work this together as a team, which we do a lot of issues, but thanks to them.
Gentleman, yield for one more.
Yes, sir.
Another member of that Columbus delegation, I think, agrees with you, is Representative Rice, Representative Carmen Rice.
Gentlemen, do you yield the well?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much for this. And is it not true that House Bill 216 not only honors the legacy of Richard H. Smith, but also aims to improve the lives of Georgia by fostering innovation and economic growth in the semiconductor industry?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody's efforts. I appreciate your efforts working on this bill also, Mr. Speaker, and I would ask your favorable vote. Thank you.
Gentleman has no further questions and has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of this bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 216, the Richard H. Smith Georgia CHIPS Advancement in Research and Economic Development Act? The yeas are 163, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions?
Honoring the life and memory of Barbara Jean Allen. Recognizing, commending Troy Cosby upon his retirement. Recognizing, commending Demola the violinist. Recognizing February 26, 2025 as Pace Day at the State Capitol. And commending the impact of the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities Community Service Boards and first responders. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolution? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. We'll move on to afternoon orders. Representative Berry, who recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Berry, there he comes. Whip Park, you're on deck. And then Representative Westbrook, and then Lita Hughley. Representative Berry, you're recognized.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues and distinguished guests, I rise today to honor a pivotal figure for our Black History Month moment, someone who holds deep significance for me. He was a founding member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, a former member of this House who once represented the same Southwest Atlanta community that I now serve, and at the time, he was the youngest member of this House. He was also a proud graduate of Morehouse College, a fact that feels especially fitting as we celebrate Morehouse Day at the Capitol. That man is none other than the great Julian Bond. Julian Bond's life was guided by a deep and unwavering commitment to justice, democracy, and truth. From his early days, he exemplified courage, integrity, and dedication to the public good. When he was elected to the State House in 1965, he faced significant challenges, not because he lacked the qualifications, but because of his willingness to speak truth to power about issues that still plague us today, including war, racism, and inequality. Despite overt attempts, he remained steadfast in his convictions, and the Supreme Court ultimately upheld his right to serve, affirming his place as a leader and advocate for the people. Scripture teaches us in Amos chapter 5, verse 24, to let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. That was Julian Bond's mission, to keep justice flowing, to keep righteousness moving, and to ensure that the doors he opened never closed behind us. His legacy lives on in each of us who refuse to let the torch of justice grow dim. If Julian Bond were here today, he would still be using his voice to speak truth to power, ensuring that the promise of democracy is upheld for all. Julian Bond did his part, and now we must do ours. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative. Whip Park is recognized for an afternoon order. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Representative Sam Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to commend the Ronald Reagan-appointed federal judge, John Kuhnauer, who blocked a 34-count convicted felon's attack on birthright citizenship as blatantly unconstitutional. Birthright citizenship is a cornerstone of American democracy, enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution to guarantee citizenship to formerly enslaved African Americans and their children. It is the legal shield that has protected generations of Black, Asian, and Hispanic communities and immigrants from Ireland, Italy, and other European countries from being cast out of the country they built and love. As a barrage of unconstitutional and illegal actions by President Trump and his Republican enablers continue, may all true American patriots who recognize that we are a nation of laws, not of dictators or fascists. May we continue to stand firm in this moment and put country before party so that our constitutional democratic republic perseveres and emerges stronger and more united in service to we the people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Ann Ellen Westbrook from the great city. We just talked about Savannah a while ago, Representative.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today on the occasion of President's Day. You know, yesterday from the well, the President was portrayed as a defender of women and girls. I was wondering if this was the same President whose record on women and girls I had thought was well known. So I felt it necessary to remind folks of the fuller story. I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down on Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try and bleep her. She was married. No, I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I moved on her like a bleep. I couldn't get there and she was married. Then all of a sudden I see her. She's now got the big phony bleep and everything. She's totally changed her look. Yeah, that's her with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. You don't even wait. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the bleep. You can do anything. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Members yielded the well. Leader Hughley is recognized for an afternoon order. Give the lady your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, a federal judge blocked President Donald Trump's efforts to slash funding for the National Institute of Health research programs at universities and medical systems that was a threat to the key source of funding and for jobs in Georgia. I rise today to thank the 22 mostly Democratic-led states who challenged this action of the National Institute of Health funding cuts. And as you know, here in Georgia, this would have meant real money. Emory University, $488 million. University of Georgia, $76 million. Augusta University, $73 million. Georgia Tech, $46 million. I rise today because Georgia remained silent when this was happening. We need to stand up for Georgia and speak truth to power regardless of who's in the White House, because this is our state and we have to defend it from within and without. Thank you.
Members will refrain from any show of support or emotion after speakers in the will. Representative, Representative Burchett is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I feel the need to come up here and de-escalate the situation. It appears as though a nerve was struck maybe yesterday, and it appears as though we're in the rebuttal position. I think what we do up here is very important, folks, and we do hold political positions. And so it forces us into a position of, the right or the left. What I'm asking for you all I'm urging you to not push yourselves in that direction. Let's continue to govern together. Let's continue to do what's best for the state of Georgia. Now, you may feel one way or the other about President Trump. He was elected, and I recall many, many times my colleagues across the aisle supporting the former president. And if you see one of our colleagues doing that, respond accordingly, as we have in the past. So I'm asking you to please, let's not escalate this chamber into a fight from the right or the left. Let's work together. Let's continue to do the good work of the state of Georgia and push the D.C. politics and national politics aside, and let's just concentrate on Georgia politics. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Members will refrain. That completes our afternoon orders. We do have some announcements, and I'm going to go ahead and remind you before you get out of here, we do have pages today, so if you have a page, we need you down front in just a moment to take some page photos. Chairman Corbett is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Rural Caucus will be meeting in the Ag Building upon adjournment. Lunch will be served. Y'all come join us. Thank you.
Chair Lady Ballinger recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Juvenile Committee will be meeting this afternoon at 1 o'clock in room 403. Thank you.
Representative Hatchett, Mr. Chairman, is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The full Appropriations Committee will be meeting at 2 in 341. We will be receiving the presentation from our state economist that we missed during the little blizzard.
When did you say that was, Mr. Chairman? I'm sorry. 2 o'clock. Thank you. Representative Werkheiser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your House Industry and Labor Committee will be meeting today at 3 o'clock in the usual place, CLOB 506. Thank you.
Representative Denia, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The members of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus, we have a meeting today from 3 to 5 p.m. It's going to be in room 310 CLOB. And for those that can't attend in person, there'll be a virtual link sent to your email. Lunch will be provided only for those that can attend in person. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Chair Lady Lynn Smith is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. We're having our House Natural Resource and Environment Committee tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, room 606. We are also welcoming tomorrow, happens to be a relative of Representative Gilliard, but we are hearing from the Geechee Gullah folks first thing, then we're taking up House Bill 143, then we are adjourning, but having a joint meeting with resource management. So don't ask me that again. Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, will that joint meeting be immediately after?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for clarifying that. It is a sandwich meeting, so they will be in the same room. We will hold the presentation first from Gullah Geechee. We will take up the bill, and then we stay put in the other part of the committee. This joint meeting is going to help the Natural Resources Committee and others look into the more complicated areas coming about with new industries coming to Georgia.
Give me an educated guess. Approximately how long would that meeting last? Those two meetings?
Given the tight schedule, the second part of our meeting will be limited to, we'll have to adjourn at 9.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Rhonda Taylor is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I just want to let you know that tomorrow morning we're going to have a group of students here from the Family, Career, and Community Leaders Day at the Capitol. This National Career and Technical Student Organization of students and in Family and Consumer Sciences. The Heritage High School chapter, which is in Rockdale County, will be here and we'll asking that the legislature visit them in 502 CLOB to bring insights tomorrow at noon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Lady Hagan, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Rural Development Committee will meet today at 2 o'clock
In CLOB 515, we do have 2 bills to consider, so I hope to see you there. I know some of you have appropriations. You're going to have to just make a decision, but we do have 2 bills to vote on, and we'll get out of there as soon as we can. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Choices. Chairman Saines is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Interstate Cooperation will be meeting today at 1 o'clock. There will be one bill, but also importantly, we'll need to set the committee rules, so we will have a larger quorum than normal. So if you are on the committee, please attend. Thank you.
Representative Jasmine Clark is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Gwinnett County delegation, tomorrow, Sheriff Kibo Taylor will be visiting us at the Capitol. He will be here from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the mezzanine 2 room, and you are invited to come say hello and greet our sheriff. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Thomas is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to right off the coattails of Chairman Smith, the Special Committee on Resource Management will be holding a joint meeting with a Natural Resources Committee. Everything that we're going to talk about is going to be water-based, and this is the foundation for everything we're going to work on over the next year, so I recommend you make it. Thank you.
Chairman Anderson is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Governmental Affairs Committee will be meeting this afternoon at 3 o'clock in 606 CLOB. Thank you.
That completes our announcements. No birthdays today, but I'll remind you, page photos, if you have a page, we'll meet you down front. At this time, I'm going to recognize the Majority Leader of this House for a motion. You need to listen up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, February 13th, 2025.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that this House stands adjourned until 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, February the 13th, 2025. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Hey, that's clear right there. I hadn't got anything to do the rest of the day. But I think we're going to adjourn. I think, Mr. Chairman, I think the ayes have it. So the ayes have it. This House does stand adjourned. Thank you, members, for a good day.